there is a silence that exists before a name. A pause, long, invisible, where the soul hovers. Where it waits. Not to be called, but to be recognized. You may think your name came from a conversation, a book, a memory, a favorite character. You may think your zodiac sign was written by time, locked into your birth like a number on a receipt. But what if they were never separate? What if your name and your sign were whispers of the same voice, coming from a place beyond the veil, choosing each other long before your lungs took their first breath? Before you were born, there was vibration. Not sound, not speech, but pure resonance. The universe, like an ancient musician, tuned your essence to a chord. A frequency that aligned with a time. That aligned with a sign. That aligned with a name. Not just any name, but the name you would carry. The name that would carry you. In esoteric traditions, names are not just identifiers. They are activators. Each syllable you pronounce opens a door. Each letter holds vibration, memory, destiny. And signs? They are the containers. The vessels through which your essence flows. They are your cosmic weather. They are the ink in which your soul agreed to be written. So when a name is spoken into a sign, when a Leo is called Lara or a Pisces is named Noah, something subtle, yet profound, happens. A story begins. A journey unfolds. A vibration meets a vessel. And the universe listens. Imagine the moment your name was spoken for the first time. Now imagine the sky at that exact second. The position of the stars, the angle of the moon. The breath of the world. Can you feel the alignment? Some names land softly. Some crash like waves. Some ripple through generations. Others rewrite ancestral echoes. But every name leaves a trail, and when it intertwines with the energy of your sign, it shapes the way your soul expresses itself. Let's take a step further. Have you ever wondered why certain names make you feel something? Why you're drawn to one name, or repelled by another? Why your own name feels like a mask, or like a mirror? Perhaps your sign, your elemental nature, is trying to express itself through sound. Through syllables. Through letters with weight and rhythm. Maybe your fire sign seeks bold, commanding names. Maybe your water sign aches for names that hum like lullabies. Maybe your air sign floats toward names that sing. And your earth sign grounds itself in names that feel like stone. Your soul is not random. It never was. Neither was your sign. Neither was your name. In ancient mystical practices, astrologers and name-givers worked together. They believed that certain names activated certain parts of the chart. That names could heal Saturn. That syllables could soften Mars. That vowels could retune a misaligned moon. You see, a name is not static. It is a spell. And your zodiac sign is not a description. It is an invitation. Together, they don't just say who you are. They offer a path to who you were meant to become. So, if you've ever felt a disconnect between your name and your nature, if you've changed your name, resisted it, shortened it, or if you've ever heard someone say, "You don't look like a underscore 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 underscore," maybe that wasn't judgment. Maybe it was resonance being questioned. Or maybe your soul is still choosing how to vibrate. Close your eyes and say your name out loud, not with doubt, but with reverence. Feel how it lands inside your chest. Does it burn, flow, rise, or echo? Your sign may already know the answer. Let's begin the journey together. Some names don't arrive softly. They arrive with heat. With motion. With will. There are names that sound like matches striking. That carry the weight of sparks behind the vowels. That walk into a room before you do. These are names that belong to fire. In the zodiac, fire is not just a temperature. It is a rhythm. A calling. Those born under fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, come into the world with something to ignite. A light to carry. A path to blaze. But the flame is not always gentle. It can warm or consume. And the name they are given can feed that flame, or try, foolishly, to tame it. Aries, the first spark. The Aries soul arrives before the sentence begins. It is the breath before the shout. The hand reaching for the sword before peace is even discussed. To name an Aries is to try and catch a spark before it flies. It's giving shape to the impulse, form to the fire. Names that begin with sharp consonants, K, T, D, often resonate with Aries energy. They cut, declare, lead. Think, Kai, Dara, Talon, Kendra. These names don't ask. They begin. But Aries can also be gifted names that soften its edges, intentionally or by accident. Names like Lena, Elio, or Maris, that call for reflection instead of reaction. When that happens, Aries may resist the name early in life, only to discover, much later, that it was the very thing needed to keep them from burning too fast. Leo, the flame that shines. Leo is not simply light. It is awareness of being seen. To be named as a Leo is to be named not for others, but for the story you're meant to embody. Leo names often carry resonance. They roll off the tongue with weight and drama. They hold space. Think of names like Aurora, Maximus, Isadora, Zion. They are not whispered. They are announced. But when a Leo is given a name too small, too fragile, too modest, they may shrink early on. Hide their roar. Wait for permission to expand. And yet, in the heart of every Leo is a memory. A knowing that the name is only a vessel. That the true fire is not in how they're called, but in how they choose to answer. Sagittarius, the flame that moves. Sagittario carrega o fogo nomade. E atacha em movimento, o pensamento que atravessa continentes. To name a Sagittarius is to give voice to a traveler, a questioner, a fire that searches for higher ground. These names often sound open, bright, with vowels that stretch. Elias, Amara, No, Leona, Ezra. Names that feel like doors left ajar, that don't end in silence, but in curiosity. Yet some Sagittarians are named with gravity. Names that pull instead of launch. And that weight becomes a lesson. Not every flame is meant to rise without challenge. Some fires burn brightest when they learn restraint. In truth, fire signs often carry a contradiction. They are born to be seen, but ache to be understood. Their names can become armor, or invitation. A way to lead, or a way to hide. A Leo may over-identify with a powerful name and forget their vulnerability. An Aries may reject a gentle name, believing it weak. A Sagittarius may rename themselves mid-journey, desperate for a sound that matches their growth. But here lies the wisdom. Your name is not just who you were. It is who you are becoming. And the sign doesn't just shape the name. The name reshapes the sign. So, if you are a fire sign, ask yourself, does your name make you louder? Or does it teach you to listen to your own flame? Do people respond to the fire they hear in your name? Or to the silence you hide behind it? And if your name never felt quite right, perhaps it was meant to remind you that fire does not always arrive with noise. Sometimes it burns in stillness, waiting for you to choose how to burn. If you carry the fire of Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius within you, say your name aloud tonight. Does it roar? Does it dance? Or does it whisper, waiting to be remembered? Tell us, what does your fire sound like? Some names don't echo. They sink. They do not rush through space like sparks, but drift, settle, soften. There are names that move like waves inside you, not loud, but lasting. They stay. They pull. They return. These are the names that belong to water. Water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, are born not just into time, but into feeling. They carry memory in their breath, and tides in their gaze. They don't speak the way fire does, or move the way air does, or hold the way earth does. They absorb. And when they are named, the sound doesn't bounce off of them. It seeps into them. So the name they carry becomes part of their bloodstream. A song they'll never stop hearing, even when they forget the words. Cancer, the name that returns home. To name a Cancer is to name a shell and the ocean inside it. Their names are often round, soft at the edges, with vowels that wrap and close. Luna, Mila, Joanna, Nico, Emmanuel. They are names that feel like lullabies, like someone once whispered them while rocking you to sleep. And yet, Cancer can also be named by others' grief, a grandmother's memory, a promise to the past, a name passed down like a relic. These names can anchor Cancer to ancestral wounds, or bless them with spiritual continuity. But Cancer must eventually ask, is this name mine, or someone else's echo? Scorpio, the name that conceals. Scorpio doesn't wear names. It hides them. To name a Scorpio is to try and define the undefined, to label a storm that hasn't formed. Scorpios are often given names with edge, shadow, gravity. Raphael, Celine, Dante, Lilith, Kale. Names that carry secrets. That suggests there's more beneath the surface. But Scorpio may also be given simple names. Names that conceal their intensity, intentionally or by chance. When this happens, they learn to weaponize their silence, to become the meaning that the name refuses to carry. Scorpio doesn't need a loud name. They are the silence between the syllables. But give them a name that honors the depth, and they will rise from the shadows. Not to dominate, but to transform. Pisces, the name that dissolves. Pisces is the name you forgot in a dream, but that still made you cry. They carry all names and none. They are the mist that forms words and erases them at once. Pisces resonates with names that are gentle, musical, layered in emotion. Elena, Jonas, Sophia, Ocean, Amelie. Names that feel like watercolors, where no edge is final. But sometimes Pisces is named with harsh sounds, rigid tones that try to hold them in place. They may wear these names like armor in a world too sharp, but they will always drift. Back to the ocean. Back to music. Back to softness. Their name isn't a brand. It's a blurred memory of something sacred they once heard, and are trying to remember. Names for water signs are not just spoken. They are felt. A Scorpio may hate their name for years, then suddenly reclaim it in the middle of an emotional rebirth. A Cancer may cry when hearing a stranger whisper their name, because it sounds like family, or like goodbye. A Pisces might change their name 5 times, and still feel like they're answering to the sea. Water doesn't just carry emotion. It holds spiritual vibration. And names, when given to water signs, become tools of channeling, healing, remembrance. If you carry the element of water in your chart, your name may be the most sacred spell you've ever spoken, or the most painful, or both. Whisper your name into water, into the sea, into a glass, into your palm. Does it echo? Does it dissolve? Does it return something to you? If you are Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, your name is not what you think it is. It's a wave you've been riding since the day you were born. Some names don't dance. They anchor. They are not wind nor fire nor wave. They are the stone on which a house is built. The seed that remembers it is meant to become a tree. There are names that hold like roots, that shape the spine before the body can walk, that are given not for beauty, but for purpose. These are the names that belong to Earth. Earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, are born into form, into expectations, into the unspoken pressure to hold what others let fall. Their names often carry history, responsibility, intention. They are not always asked if they like the name. They are simply expected to carry it well. But a name, even for the strong, has weight. And earth signs know this better than anyone. Taurus, the name that remembers. To name a Taurus is to carve something into stone. Or to plant something deep into soil and ask it to grow. Taurus names often sound solid, calm, enduring. Helena, Arthur, Lucas, Clara, Samuel. They are names that seem to have always existed. Names that don't need decoration, only presence. But Taurus can also be named with the memory of loss. With the hope that this child will restore what was broken in another. A name like a rebuilt house. And Taurus will carry it. Not because they asked to. But because someone needed them to. Yet, at some point, Taurus must ask. Am I building my own temple? Or living in someone else's ruins? Virgo, the name that organizes. Virgo does not seek names for glory. But for function. Their names often come with crisp sounds, balanced syllables. Clear beginnings and endings. Isabel, Daniel, Cleo, Matthias, Anna. Names that fit cleanly in the mouth. Like tools sharpened for meaning. Virgos notice the patterns in names. The rhythm, the math, the elegance. And they silently wonder why someone would ever choose a name that doesn't match. Yet Virgo is sometimes given names that contradict their internal order. Too chaotic, too grand, too loud. They may struggle with these names. Twisting themselves into them like a suit that never quite fits. Until one day, they reclaim it. Edit it. Or quietly redefine it in the way only Virgo can. Precisely, patiently, and with purpose. Capricorn, the name that builds. To name a Capricorn is to make a contract with time. Their names often sound ancestral. Authoritative, ancient. Leonardo, Beatriz, Enrique, Camila, Joaquim. Names that carry echoes of gates, thrones, and long corridors. Names that sound like they've done something. Capricorn rarely receives frivolous names. And when they do, they carry them like work clothes. Transforming lightness into labor. Sometimes, the name is a burden. A title given too soon. A mantle not yet earned. But Capricorn understands one truth. Some names are not inherited, they are earned every single day. And so they rise. Not to escape the name. But to become worthy of it. Earth signs feel names in their bones. A Virgo may spend years adjusting how their name is written, pronounced, or shortened. Just to bring order to identity. A Taurus may hold on to their name like soil. Feeling displaced when it is misused. A Capricorn may live with the quiet pressure of living up to a name that was spoken over them before they could speak for themselves. But here lies the paradox. Some names stabilize. Others cement. And every earth sign must learn the difference. Your name is not just your structure. It is your inheritance. And earth signs must choose. Will I carry this name like a burden? Or like a foundation? Will I obey the form given to me? Or carve my own name into the mountain? If you are Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, write your name with intention today. Say it slowly. Ask yourself, what are you building with this name? And what are you willing to rebuild in yourself? Because the name you carry is not only yours. It may also be the legacy you'll leave behind. Some names don't land. They hover. They glide. They move through people like wind through leaves. Unseen, but undeniably present. There are names that sound like laughter at dusk. Or the first line of a poem never finished. They shift. They adapt. They echo. These are names that belong to air. The element of air, Gemios, Libra, Aquario, is not born to carry weight. But movement. Not to define. But to connect. People of air signs don't just receive names. They translate them. They become them. Or sometimes, they escape them entirely. Gemini, the name that speaks back. To name a Gemini is to try and put a breeze in a bottle. Their names often sound curious, bright, fast. Leah, Theo, Nina, Ottavio, Sasha. They favor names that move quickly off the tongue. Names that spark reaction. That invite conversation. Gemini often plays with their names, nicknames, abbreviations, reversals. They test how sound interacts with self. Not out of vanity, but to understand. But sometimes they are given names that are too heavy, too historical, too rigid. They may grow up feeling miscast, like a character reading someone else's script. But Gemini always rewrites their name, their voice, their identity, until it feels like them, or at least like a version worth exploring. Libra, the name that balances. Libra seeks symmetry. In tone, in form, in sound. Their names often feel soft, beautiful, musical. Clara, Elisa, Samuel, Marina, Leandro. Names that evoke harmony. That flow between syllables with grace. But Libra is sometimes given names with conflict. Unusual combinations, family tensions, or names that carry old arguments. And they feel that. Because Libra doesn't just carry the name. They carry the energy behind it. Still, they try to make peace. To speak their name in a way that smooths over the chaos. And in doing so, they may forget to ask, do I say this name for them, or for me? Libra must learn to speak their name in their own voice, even if it trembles. Aquarius, the name that rewrites the sky. Aquarius is rarely satisfied with what is given. To name an Aquarian is to attempt containment. And they do not contain well. They resonate with unusual, symbolic, futuristic names. Gail, Iris, Zion, Yara, Atlas. Or they make their own. Aquarius may resist their name outright. Or carry it ironically. They know names are constructs, useful, yes, but never the whole truth. Some Aquarians change names more than once. Others hide behind initials, or invent alter egos. But at their core, they aren't fleeing their name. They're looking for the one that fits the future version of themselves. To them, names aren't labels. They are keys. To freedom, to change, to reinvention. Air signs relate to names like birds to wind. Sometimes riding them. Sometimes outpacing them. Always interpreting them. A Gemini might introduce themselves differently depending on the room. A Libra may say their name and watch others' faces, looking for approval in the reflection. An Aquarius might refuse to say it at all, until they've decided who they're becoming next. But even air must land. Even wind must pause. And so each of these signs must eventually ask, what is the sound of my soul, when no one else is listening? Because a name is not only how the world finds you. It is how you remember yourself. If you are Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, speak your name alone, just once, and notice how the air around you responds. Does it rise? Does it carry? Does it disappear before you even hear it fully? Because your name is not just how others call you. It's the echo of your mind. And the voice of your soul. Every name is a sound. Every sign is a rhythm. And when the two meet, they form a kind of music that only your soul recognizes. You may not remember the moment your name was given, or the sky under which you were born. But both were there. And neither was random. Because no matter how it happened, something chose you. Not just your sign. Not just your name. But the exact resonance between the two. Some were named in hospitals. Others in prayer. Some in haste, others in ceremony. Some in joy, others in grief. But all names carry memory. And all signs carry destiny. And somewhere between those two, you were formed. Let us remember, now, the signs. Not as traits, but as vessels. And the names. Not as words, but as spells. Fire signs. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. You are the voice that begins things. You are the match. The roar. The drumbeat. Your names burn with movement. With leadership. With challenge. But your journey is not only to be heard. It is to become the sound others remember when silence returns. Water signs. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. You are the echo beneath the surface. The ripple that carries meaning where none was spoken. Your names are not sounds, they are sensations. They hold grief, intuition, and the weight of memory. You were not named to impress. You were named to feel. Earth signs. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. You are the structure behind the syllables. The form that gives sound a body. Your names are ground. They offer foundation, weight, history. But you must choose what to build with them. And when to rest from carrying what was never yours. Air signs. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. You are the messenger. The word between stars. The breath before thought becomes voice. Your names are keys, codes, currents. They move, evolve, dissolve. But when you stop trying to please the room, you may finally speak in your own language. No name is wrong. But some names are incomplete. Some too heavy. Others too light. Some whispered. Some forced. And yet, they all brought you here. Maybe you've changed your name. Maybe you hated it. Maybe you carry one you didn't choose, or don't understand. Maybe your name has never felt like home. That's not failure. That's the beginning. Because the truth is, your sign and your name are in constant conversation. Every time you speak it. Every time you hear it. You are shaping yourself. And maybe the name was never meant to define you. Only to call you back. To the part of yourself that remembers who you were before forgetting. And if you listen closely, you may notice that the names you're drawn to, the names you give to others, the names you fear, are all reflections. They reflect what your sign is here to learn. What your spirit came to reclaim. What your heart still dares to say. Because the sacred bond between your name and your sign is not about astrology. It's about identity. It's about soul. And soul does not need permission to be spoken. Tonight, write your name on a piece of paper. Place it under the stars. Whisper it, once, with intention. Then close your eyes. And listen. Not for what it means, but for what it awakens. Because your name is not just how the world finds you. It's how the universe remembers you.